Hey everyone, I'm Nicole,
And I'm Gabrielle.
and we are the hosts of the Spiritual Sisters podcast.
Join us every week as we discuss all the spiritual topics like astrology, mediumship, psychic insights, and so much more.
We are often joined by others we have met along our spiritual journey who are well versed in many of these areas.
Get ready for enlightening discussions and interviews and personal experiences that we hope will expand your mind and get you thinking outside of the box.
Whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker or just beginning your spiritual journey, there's something here for everyone.
Check us out every Tuesday wherever you get your podcasts. See you then.
Bye!
Hi, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Soul Ecosystem Podcast. I am your host, Anna Rising, and on this podcast, we discuss all things soul contracts. I'm a soul contract reader, and I work with a modality that combines Jewish mysticism, astrology, tarot, and numerology to calculate what you incarnated here to do. For those of you that are new here, a soul contract is essentially an agreement that you make before incarnating, that your soul makes before incarnating, where you really draw up a guideline or a blueprint of what it is that you want to experience before you incarnate here. So your soul has some goals that it wants to complete, whether it's healing karma or experiencing something that you haven't experienced before, that it draws up in this contract and then incarnates to complete them. I started to look into celeb soul contracts almost as soon as I learned the modality, took a course in it, and I did so in a way to see how people's soul contract manifest in reality. And I thought that was an excellent way to familiarize myself with the energy of certain programs, with the energy of certain numbers, to see how it manifests for various celebrities that have similar paths, have similar programs in their soul contracts. Now, per request from Stuff by Bill on my Soul Ecosystem Reddit page, we are going to be looking into the soul contract of Conan O'Brien today. Now, I have to be honest, I do not know much about him. So if you guys notice anything that's like, oh, that's spot on, he experienced this and this and this, please be sure to leave it in the comments and let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to show you guys my soul contract calculator on my website at thesoulecosystem.com. And I'm going to show you guys where we input the date of birth, how it calculates and puts all the numbers into the chart, and then what Conan O'Brien's soul contract looks like. So bear with me for a sec as I show you guys my website. This is thesoulecosystem.com. You are going to click Soul Contract Calculator on that tab right there. And Conan O'Brien was born on April 18th, 1963. We are going to click Generate Chart right here. And you are going to notice that it automatically puts in the numbers into your soul contract chart. And it's going to give you an unlock option. Once you go down here, you'll choose your unlock option, whether you want to purchase the full soul contract chart analysis, which comes with a downloadable PDF, or buy it in parts. I also recently made the option of giving you guys lifetime access, either via my course, which is why you see the student login, request access, or just to have personal access. If you guys buy the lifetime access along with my course, you guys are going to be getting a $600 discount with the purchase of the course and the lifetime access. I highly, highly recommend it if you're going to be getting the course, because manually drawing up the numbers and calculating all of that is very tiresome if you're doing it a lot and often, like I have been doing, which is why the calculator is absolutely revolutionary. It's absolutely changed the game for me. So I would highly suggest, if you plan on using soul contracts a lot, if you plan on calculating a lot of soul contracts, getting the lifetime access along with the course to learn what all of the numbers mean and how to calculate them. Now, let's take a look at Conan O'Brien's soul contract. He has two very interesting primary numbers here, 18 being the energy of the moon and 4 being the energy of power. Now, 4 is not in his primary A number, thus I'm not too worried about it, although I have a distaste for number 4s in general because of how polarizing that energy is. Fours could either be the best person you know, or they could be the worst person you know. This is like a saint versus sinner vibe. I have seen a lot of soul contracts of celebrities that have the number fours, and more often than not, they are very abusive of their power. On the rare occasion, they know how to handle that power. They channel that power and put it into changing the world. Like they put that energy into being philanthropists and being of service to humanity. And a few of the big names that have that energy is Audrey Hepburn, Rosa Parks, I believe Maya Angelou, but I might be mistaken on that. I don't know why she popped into my head when I thought of that. Now, the 18s have to be very careful, because one of my favorite things about 18s is also somewhat tricky for them to manage if they have a tendency of focusing on the negative. For 18s, their innermost thoughts and desires have a tendency of coming true. They have an insanely strong energy within themselves that they channel from the moon, and they're able to materialize their thoughts rather quickly. So if they are a very pessimistic thinker, that means that they're going to be materializing negative opportunities, negative like conflicts and situations in their life. If they manage to become optimistic, the world essentially becomes their oyster. And this is true not just for the 18, this is also true for ones. Ones are the magician energy, and ones essentially have this energy kind of multiplied because they're like the OG manifestors. So the fact that he has these kind of really powerful numbers immediately as soon as we go into his soul contract is very, very telling. And the fact that he's been able to create such a successful career for himself tells me that more likely than not, he is an optimist. He knows how to use this inner power that he has of materializing his thoughts, bringing them into reality to his benefit. Now, let's take a look at his past life karmic debt, because usually when I see a past life karmic debt, I know whether this person is operating in alignment or not, because if it's malicious, we're going to know that this person has a lot of heavy karma to clear and he's likely operating from misalignment. If it's not malicious, it's going to be really telling about his alignment. I want to give an example of the last soul contract that I just did on Ethan Slater, the voice of SpongeBob, and Ariana Grande's I don't know if they got married, ex-husband, ex-boyfriend. And as soon as I saw his past life karmic debt, I was like, okay. I was kind of blown away by that. And I haven't seen Conan O'Brien's yet, so you're going to see my raw reaction to this. I was blown away by Ethan Slater's because he had the past life of the aggressor, which is one of the most malicious past life karmic debts in this modality. This is a very intentionally, like almost borderline sadistic person, very up in their masculine energy, very toxic. So I found it interesting that I was manifesting in Ethan Slater's chart. I did not expect that. But maybe that's because I'm biased. I love SpongeBob. So let's take a look. Past life karmic debt. Okay. Okay. All right. This is not a bad one. This is not a malicious karmic debt. I like this for Conan O'Brien. It means he's an out of the box thinker. Okay. We have the past life karmic debt of the rebel. Usually, these past lives are lives of people that were born into very influential, powerful families, and they were expected to follow through either on the family business or in a certain kind of lifestyle. I don't know why I heard sedentary lifestyle. And Conan O'Brien was just not about that. He's like, I don't want to live the way that you guys live. I want to go out and do something different with my life. So he completely kind of rejected that, and he may have cut off ties with his family. Now, I am all for cutting off ties with people that are extremely dangerous to our mental health, to our sanity, and are toxic. I do believe that if you have a reason to not speak with your family, I believe that's okay. But where you can, especially this modality really encourages not to break family ties, to still maintain contact with family however much you can, because you really want to maintain that connection to your ancestry, to your lineage, because a lot of our power comes from our ancestors. So, as we can see from this past life, we're going to see that it says that the soul chose to separate from the family, disowning them, rejecting their support and connections, and lived frivolously. It's not the worst thing, it's not the worst karma to have, but in this incarnation, what ends up happening is you try to restore that connection. You try to restore that karma that you've built up from disowning your family. So what's going to end up happening is you're going to be born into a family where there's already likely been some kind of disconnection. There's already likely been some kind of event that transpired, either divorce, imprisonment, death, or loss in the family that shattered these connections. This could even be as far as like half of the family not talking to the other half of the family for some kind of inconvenience or minor like argument or major argument. But regardless, something there has disconnected them from the other side of the family. And what's going to end up happening in this incarnation is that the bearer of this past life karmic debt becomes the rebel of the family again, going against the grain, choosing a different path, and either distancing themselves physically or emotionally. You may reject family traditions, avoid getting married or having children, and refuse support from them, even if it's needed. Like, this is like refusal of financial support. This is refusal of like emotional support because you just don't want anything to do with them. However, in this incarnation, the universe will try to continuously put you in a situation where you need to learn how to stop just breaking things off with people, learn how to maintain some sort of connection, some sort of bond, even if you might disagree. Now, again, I understand that with some people, it's very, very difficult to do, with people that are very abusive, with people that are very religious, perhaps, or very set in their ways. It's very difficult to maintain some semblance of a relationship. So if you cannot, if your family is really like not level-headed at all, really set in their ways, I understand if it might not be possible to have any sort of relationship. Usually where there's this like cult-like mentality, people want you to either agree with them or you're dead to them. So it's important for the bearer of this program not to have that same kind of mentality where it's like, if you did this and this, if you believe this and this, then you're dead to me. My favorite thing about this modality is not just that it shows you your strengths, then shows you the potential issues that might come out of it. It also gives you recommendations and helps you see the lesson in all of this. And the lesson in this past life karmic debt is to heal and rebuild your connection with your family in a new way, in a way where you might need to compromise a little bit, your family might need to compromise a little bit, but it's in a restorative healing way, not in a kind of like blackmailing, abusive way. You would hope to restore that kind of connection in a way that can heal the family bond and reconnect you to your sense of family, to your sense of community, to your sense of your lineage and your traditions. Now we get into talents and spiritual gifts. So for Conan O'Brien, we have the Emperor, which is known as the talent of influence. Then we have magic coming in, which is known for its talent of creation and manifestation. Remember, I said that 18 energy makes it very easy to manifest your thoughts. Then we have the soul talent, which is known for its superpower alignment. Alignment, I feel like, explains how he was able to get to where he was, because when you're in alignment with the universe, with your path, and you are really sure of what it is that you want to do, it makes it easier for the universe to set up your path for you. And you're going to see that right below the superpower, there's a list of celebrity names that also have this number in their talents and spiritual gifts. So those are the ones that he has personally. Then we have talents coming in from his maternal side, which has the high priest slash priestess, superpower organization. Fives are very, very structural and organized. Then we have the super talent of the world. So coming in from his maternal ancestry, we have a number that is known for being able to travel, being the type of person that loves traveling and doesn't really feel the need to ground themselves in one place at one time. And when I first looked through my soul contract, especially the ones that were the numbers that were manifesting in my parental lineage, like from my mom's side, from my dad's side, it just checked off. It was absolutely insane how spot on it was for the personalities that were my mom and dad. So I was able to see how that was kind of manifesting from my mom's side of the family versus from my dad's side. So for Conan O'Brien, I would say that his mom is something of a free spirit. She isn't tethered to one place. She's likely not a creature of habit. And spiritual rebirth, we have resilience. Resilience coming in from his mom's side. So that tells me that this ancestry on his mother's side are powerhouses. They know how to rebuild no matter what comes their way. Like, it's giving me, if your family business or your farm was destroyed, like, you know how to just pick yourself up and rebuild it again and be even more successful than you were before. So that's an extremely powerful talent to have. I feel like it makes you less afraid to fail because you know that you can just pick yourself right up and start from the beginning again. Then we have talents coming in from the father, free spirit and resourcefulness. These are not people that were uptight. These are not people that were uptight in a way where they would put limits on Conan O'Brien. So I feel like they instilled into him that he can set out and accomplish to do whatever he wanted to do, which I feel as a kid really opens up the world for you and kind of takes away any false limitations that others may place upon themselves, which is a very empowering thing. Then we have the fortune coming in from his dad's side. So if his dad was a business owner, he was a very, very lucky business owner. Fortune is the number of luck. It's the number of things just happening, you just being at the right place at the right time in order to snag an opportunity that others may have had to work years and years and years for to get. And just because you're likable and that type of person that just exudes this magnetism, you're going to get it. So fortune is coming in from his paternal side. That luck is coming in from his father's side. And then we have the love and relationships, which is all about communication. This is about learning to communicate with people, having a gift of communicating with people. That combined with his talent of influence, this person becomes unstoppable at influencing people, at leading people, talking to people, and getting along with a lot of people. We get into destiny and purpose now for Conan O'Brien. We see that he has a lot of numbers here, the 9, 10, 19, and then double tens in his masculine and feminine. And then for the later parts of his life, so Destiny 1, that is for your destiny between the ages of 20 to 40. Destiny 2 is from 40 to 60. And his purpose is the number 12. So I don't know if you're going to be able to see all of this text. It's showing up clearly on my end. But if you guys wanted to pause that and kind of read what's happening for the number 19 for Destiny 1, and then the number 20 for Destiny 2, that's again from 40 to 60. I don't think it is a coincidence that for 40 to 60, his destiny number is 20, which is all about healing generational cycles, healing generational curses. I feel like his past life karmic debt is very, very heavily tied into that, into restoring family connections. And I feel like with age, we kind of all get to that place where we want to learn more about our ancestry, learn more about where we come from, and who the people that came before us were. So I feel like this is a very explorative time for Conan O'Brien between the ages of 40 and 60, where he learns the importance of family and the importance of keeping it together, keeping those bonds and connections in order to really ground yourself in that energy. When it comes to his purpose, this is like spiritual mastery. This is the spiritual mastery number. If you complete your purpose, you've essentially completed what you came here to do generally. His purpose is the number 12. 12s are supposed to lead with love, build relationships rooted in compassion, respect, and understanding. They possess a very deep capacity for unconditional love that they're meant to not suppress or withhold. This ability to love wholeheartedly is one of their greatest strengths and a powerful source of fulfillment. So, this is about the heart chakra. This is about really opening their heart and keeping it open, even if it might cause them pain. Conan's soul agreed to structure his soul contract the way that it's structured in order to give him an unusual capacity to love unconditionally, simply because that is his purpose. His purpose is to love unconditionally in this incarnation. And again, that's fitting perfectly into his past life karmic debt, which is essentially about not loving people unconditionally. It's about disowning your family because they weren't the type of family that you wanted. You had conditions for their love. You had conditions in place where you were like, either you're going to let me be this way, or you're going to love me this way, or we're not going to have a relationship. So that is his goal. That is his mission in this incarnation, to learn to accept people as they are, with all of their faults, with all of their flaws, and in turn also get that unconditional love given back to them, have their family, have their loved ones unconditionally accept and love them as they are. Now, when we go into money and energetic keys, I'm trying to look for the numbers that signify a millionaire program. There it is. In subconscious programs, we have the numbers 5, 14, and 9. And right underneath, we have celebrities that have this millionaire program: Justin Bieber, Gabriel Iglesias, Heath Ledger, Chadwick Boseman, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain, Paul Walker, Aaliyah, Patrick Dempsey, Sarah Ramirez, Prince, and Frida Kahlo. The millionaire program I talk about a lot because it's one of my favorite programs. It essentially means that at some point in your incarnation, you're going to come into a large amount of money, either through luck, winning the lottery, through inheritance, or through hard work. But you're going to be inheriting or just receiving some sort of large amount. And this is more so of a blessing than it is of a subconscious program that's running, because it essentially means that at some point in your past incarnations, you did something for someone, either saved their life or did something significant towards them to have this kind of good karma coming back at you. So I love to see that, especially in souls that I feel like would have definitely been the type to help other people out of a bad place, especially. I'm looking at Heath Ledger, which I feel like he's known for his big heart. Gabriel Iglesias, big heart. Paul Walker, Aaliyah, and Justin Bieber. I absolutely love Justin Bieber's chart. I feel like he is grossly misunderstood and very traumatized. But if you guys wanted to check out my going through his soul contract, I believe I have an episode on Justin Bieber's soul contract. Then we have the Fairy World Writer-Director program. And this is funny because one of the things that my husband asked me before I recorded this video is, what do you expect for there to be in Conan O'Brien's soul contract? And I'm like, well, I expect him to have the actor-actress program, which means that he's good at mimicry. And my husband's like, and the Fairy World program, right? I'm like, oh my God, you have memorized the subconscious programs now that I go through. But I'm like, yes, it would make sense if he had the Fairy World Writer Director program, and he does. Fairy World Writer Director program means that this person has an unusually active creative imagination, really high creativity, would be an excellent writer, would be an excellent director. They know how to kind of formulate their own worlds in their head. And again, very active imagination. So anybody that is in the movie industry would be an excellent director if they had, or producer if they had this program. I believe, oh yeah, there's a whole lot of names here. Sylvester Stallone, come on. That's the most obvious Fairy World Director program. Sylvester Stallone wrote Rocky, right? He put his own money into it. He got like $1 million for the script. He wrote the script. He got $1 million for it, and then ended up having to sell his dog. Do you guys remember that story? Ended up having to sell his dog to afford, I don't know if it was rent or food, but he was like, he was really in a bad place by the end of recording this movie, and then it just blew up, and Sylvester Stallone became who he is now. We also have J.K. Rowling, Selena Gomez, Katherine Heigl, Khloe Kardashian, Chappell Roan, Billy Crystal, Frida Kahlo, Jane Goodall, and Joan of Arc. So Fairy World Writer Director shows up in various forms, not just in writers, not just in directors. These are just people that have a very active imagination and know how to put that on paper or put that into some kind of external source of sharing this creativity with other people. Now we go into the broken lineage, which ties into his past life karmic debt. I feel like everything just comes back to his past life karmic debt. This is a program that has to do with family and that bond being broken. I feel like I've touched on that in the past life karmic debt. It's essentially just repeated in the subconscious program. So this means that mentally you're repeating this pattern where the family is not as connected as it should be. There isn't that kind of like unity. There isn't that kind of connection that a healthy family might have. Then we have the high spiritual unification mission. This is highly spiritual, hence the name, high spiritual unification mission. And I love seeing this because in people that are divisive, and people that love to put other people in boxes and make it kind of it's a us versus them situation. When this program shows up, you're going to see somebody that's a lot more open-minded. You're going to see somebody that genuinely loves other people and understands that everybody thinks differently, everybody believes different things. They're not going to be quick to kind of segregate other people, is what I'm saying. So with this program, what you're going to have is a person that likes to unify others. And as far as I'm concerned, in my personal opinion, anybody that's not trying to divide, anybody that's trying to bring humanity closer together and stop reducing people to their religion, to their color, to their race, to their sexuality, is a good one, is a good soul, somebody that's very high vibrational. So I love that I'm seeing this for Conan. I might become a fan of his after this. I feel like now we're going to be watching a lot of Conan in my house. And let's move on to the binge program. So this is the next program we have for Conan O'Brien. The binge program doesn't always necessarily immediately go to like alcohol issues, drug issues. This is just an indication of somebody that has a hard time limiting themselves, putting a cap on things. It could even be with hard work, but it really is more of a program that's telling you that you might have some addiction issues, some addictive tendencies that you're going to want to keep an eye on. I'm not sure if that runs true for Conan O'Brien, but it is something that he's going to need to look within himself and like work on to see why he has such a hard time not seeking comfort or some kind of like outlet in vices. Spiritual and physical beauty. Okay. All right. Okay. I love this for him. Spiritual and physical beauty means that you have a beautiful soul. You have a beautiful soul. Oftentimes it's physical beauty where like you're physically attractive. This is seen in Shonda Rhimes, Justin Chambers, Kobe Bryant, Denzel Washington, Jane Goodall. I feel like the last one, Jane Goodall, is saying a lot about this subconscious program. I absolutely love this for him. Let me see what it looks like when it's operating out of alignment. So, potential issues with this program: you may place too much importance on appearances, external validation, or the opinions of others. There may be a tendency to compare yourself to people around you. This reminds me of Kobe Bryant. As soon as I read that, I'm like, that sounds like Kobe. And he's right there, guys. Kobe Bryant. I wonder who he was comparing himself to. Michael Jordan. My husband talks about him all the time, about Kobe Bryant chewing gum exactly like Michael Jordan and essentially making his entire persona. Oh my God, what was it? The Puma? The Black Panther? Black Panther? I forget. Anyway, like just copying what Michael Jordan was doing. So, yeah, that sounds like Kobe. You may struggle to see your own beauty and gifts while recognizing them in everyone else. Yeah, I feel like Kobe definitely had that manifesting for him. And I'm speaking about Kobe because, again, I don't know much about Conan O'Brien. So if you guys remember a certain point where Conan may have like tried to do something, like do his shows like another celebrity figure, or tried to like mimic something someone else was doing because they felt like they weren't enough, then again, drop it in the comments. Like, let me know, like, validate this subconscious program, because I see how it is showing up, manifesting in other celebrities that have this program. Then we go into magical knowledge, as seen in Chadwick Boseman, Kurt Cobain, Justin Chambers. Oh, Prince. I can easily see this manifesting in Princess and Kurt Cobain's soul contract, because they were channeling music from outside of themselves, right? Michael Jackson knew that. That's why Michael Jackson would say, like, would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning with an idea for a song, get everybody into the studio, and they'd be like, why are you forcing us to come here at 3 a.m.? And Michael Jackson would say, I know if I don't get this song down, God is going to give this song to Prince. So there was this understanding that Prince was channeling his stuff. He was getting that inspiration from outside of himself. Then we have fear of trusting God, fear of accepting magic power. That reminds me of Kim Kardashian's soul contract, because there was a lot of fear programs in her contract. He only has 2, but Kim Kardashian's was absolutely riddled with anxiety, which I thought was very interesting. Then we have the mother wound coming up for him, as seen in James Dean, Denzel Washington, and Jane Goodall. I believe that Matt LeBlanc also has this program, so I should add his name in there. The mother wound essentially means that you may have had a difficult relationship with your mother. You either may have been neglected by her or gone through something traumatic in regards to your relationship with her. So, given what I know about what was manifesting in his maternal lineage, I'm going to say that his mother was distant. I'm going to say that she wasn't the type of motherly figure that you would expect in a mom, because of all that extra, like, kind of free spirit energy she had up in there. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what was happening for him. Then we have the prison program, which doesn't always manifest as an actual prison sentence. Most of the time, it manifests as like mental imprisonment, where you feel trapped, where you feel like you're in a situation that you can't control, that you can't get out of. Lack of freedom is kind of synonymous with that. It's these two, like, this program is 2249, this program is 2248. They're very, very close to each other, and essentially either mean physical prison sentence, or like getting arrested at some point, or just having that feeling like you can't get out of it. Then we have the extremism program, which is seen in James Dean John Lennon. I don't always love seeing this program because in misalignment, it could be very harmful, it could be very toxic. But the extremism, the way it manifests is that usually in alignment, this person is very generous, has a huge heart, kind hearted spirit. When they care about somebody, they go above and beyond to show them their support, to provide for them. Unfortunately, when this program is in misalignment, there is love bombing that could happen where the person can be completely infatuated, completely obsessed, and just love bombing you with affection, with gifts. And then they could the next day just be completely different, completely cold to you. And that can be a little bit toxic. That can be a little difficult to go through. Now, there's still a lot of futility, inquisition, there's still a lot of programs. I'm going to go through the ones that I feel are most important to mention. Self-destruction, very self-explanatory, also seen in Amy Winehouse. So, if this person is manifesting in misalignment, if something is happening where they're not completely on path, where they have either abandoned themselves or their priorities, they can start exhibiting self-destructive behavior, which I feel is spot on for Amy Winehouse. Don't know about Conan O'Brien. When they're not in misalignment, when they are in alignment, this program, along with the rest of them, they act as gifts. They act as like essentially not brownie points, but like bonus points towards you where like you get a little bit of an extra boost out of them. So for the self-destructive uh, program, you're going to see somebody with a lot of inner strength, resilience. They're not afraid of change. They're not afraid of making difficult decisions when necessary. And they have this uncanny ability to reinvent themselves when life calls for it. So it's a little bit of that phoenix energy coming in for this program. We have permission to rest. Permission to rest is also pretty self explanatory. Uh, with this program, people need to learn how to let themselves not be a workhorse all the time and enjoy life, enjoy taking it slow, taking it easy, because more often than not, what happens is they work themselves to death, to sickness. And it's like, okay, like you need to learn how to dial it down. You need to learn how to be still and not always need to be on your next project. Pure Stream is the program of channeling. Pure Stream is the program of channeling. So my bearers of the Pure Stream have this access to the divine, to source that most people do not. And I love seeing this in musicians because it tells you that they're channeling things straight from the divine. They're channeling their music, they're channeling their artwork, they're channeling their writing or whatever creative outlet they use from something higher than them. So seeing this in Conan O'Brien's chart is very interesting because I feel like a lot of his gifts are divinely channeled, a lot of the things that he does. Because I feel like this is testifying to a lot of his talent and ideas being divinely channeled. Then we have the intelligence program. Also self-explanatory, means that you're a brilliant person. I love to see this program. Some of my favorite bearers of this program is Michael Jackson. Let's see, who else is in here? Katherine Heigl. I believe Emma Watson also has this program, which explains her role as Hermione, don't you think? It explains her role as Hermione in Harry Potter. We have the driven child. Ooh, okay. The driven child tells us a little bit more about his relationship with his mom, where that mother wound is coming from. Because the driven child, I believe, who has this? Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry has this program, and it manifests as a child that didn't feel like they were seen by their parents, that felt like they needed to put on a spectacle, be the center of attention all the time because they were the ones that tried to make things better. They couldn't bear seeing either their mom in pain or like their mom being sad. So they were kind of like the class clown. They were kind of like the go to sibling or child that entertains everybody and puts on a show. So this manifests as a child that kind of feels like they have to perform, a very performative kind of person where they likely started going to work at a very early age because they felt like they needed to provide. And the way to heal this cycle, to heal this program, trust is to trust, because what ends up happening with this program is the person becomes a workaholic, which ties into a lot of other programs that Conan O'Brien has in his chart here. You have to trust that what is meant for you is not going to pass you by. This gives me the vibe that this person has worked hard for everything he's ever gotten. Just absolutely relentless worker. And this program is saying that you don't always have to be on all the time. You don't always have to be on all the time. You can let go of control and trust that you don't need to earn people's affection. You don't need to earn people's love. You don't need to earn your place here. Like, you are enough completely as you are. And that's a beautiful message to have in a soul contract. Okay, I'm kind of confused by this one because I don't think I've ever heard anything bad about Conan O'Brien. I'm not sure if I have, but he has the public disgrace shame program. So this program means that at some point in your incarnation, you're going to have a falling out with the public eye. I'm trying to remember if I've heard anything about people like talking negatively about him. I think I may have. It could have been another talk show host. I'm not sure. But again, tell me in the comments if this checks out, if Conan O'Brien has gotten crap for something before. We have the Peacemaker. Oh, that kind of ties a little bit into that driven child program because they don't want conflict. They kind of feel like they have to perform. I feel like that's what made him such a good performer. I feel like the driven child program is the key here for him. We have burnout, again, tying into him working way too hard and needing to learn how to relax. Otherwise, he's going to burn himself out. We have the revenge program. Makes sense again, because it feels like he's channeling all of this unprocessed emotions towards his mother's side and trying to kind of like show her like, I'm going to make something of myself. I'm going to be like a household name, because he never felt enough for her. That's how I'm reading this. And then we have the influencer, obviously, because he has the influence talent. Influencer as seen in James Dean. James Dean was an icon. Okay, so secret love. Have there ever been any rumors about Conan O'Brien's sexuality? Because usually, when this program comes up in a soul contract, it either means that there's some like hidden feelings towards the same gender, or that this person is an ally. And I've seen soul contracts of other celebrities other than Frida Kahlo, which on point, right? Other than Frida Kahlo, that have this program, and I took a look like if there have been any rumors that they're bi or gay, and more often than not it comes back that this person is an ally. They're very passionate about equality and people getting to love who they love. So moving on to devaluation. Inner circle, signature mark. Yeah, he's got a signature mark. So this means that he incarnated here, hoping to have something that kind of sets him apart and sets him apart from the rest. So he either specifically chose to look the way that he looks, in order to have a signature mark, in order to have like this signature look to him. So I feel that is spot on. Then we have the charmer. Okay, this person was just meant for the screen. This person was meant to be in the spotlight. He has the influencer program and the charmer program. So I love that for him. People pleasing, that ties into the mother wound because you feel like you need to please the mother. Illusion of freedom as seen in James Dean, becoming visible. Helping hands, lessons in attachment. Choosing yourself. I feel like he has a lot of similar lessons to Princess Diana. And I feel like that's a testament to him not having a very easy kind of internal headspace to manage. I feel like there was some trauma there for him that he either needs to overcome or has overcome. All or nothing program. All or nothing program essentially means you don't do anything half-heartedly. It's you don't do anything in the middle. You want to do something perfectly, you want to do something right or not do it at all. So he's the type of person to be something of a perfectionist. If he picks up a project, he's going to do it right. He's not going to half-ass it. He's going to give it his all. He's not the type to like do something carelessly, stamp his name on it and be like, yeah, it's a good day's work. No, he's going to try to be the absolute best at what he does, which is very admirable. But now we're seeing that he puts so much pressure on himself to be perfect, to be the best at things. I feel like that is not, it doesn't pan out well long term, is what I'm trying to say. I was going to say it's not conducive, but it doesn't pan out well long term. The visionary, excellent program to have for the line of work that he is in. This person's very focused. Bearers of this program are very focused. They move forward with purpose and intention. This is where that talent of alignment comes in. This person never had this kind of like, they likely never had this period where they didn't know what they were doing, where they didn't know what they wanted to do with their lives. I feel like he might not have always known the career that he was headed towards, but he knew exactly what he wanted out of it. He knew what he wanted to get out of his work, and he just bulldozed, went straight for it until he got what he wanted. There it is. He has two of the most like abundant blessings / gifts in his subconscious programs. He has the golden gift. This is the Midas touch program, guys. This means that everything you touch turns to gold. Now, I don't want to discredit his work here because it is very, very clear that he earned everything he got. He put his heart and soul into his work. He's an extremely hard worker, extremely go-getter, ambitious type of guy. And yet, on top of that, this guy's just like unstoppable. On top of that, he has the golden gift. So everything that he works on turns to gold, is very successful. I'm blown away right now. I really, after this, I'm going to be like looking up a whole bunch of Conan O'Brien. Oh, come on. Okay, this is just humorous at this point. I feel like this is just humorous at this point. You can't have all of the good programs. You can't take them all. Why would you take them all? Why would, okay, he's like a Pokemon collector at this point. He's got to catch them all. Gift of wit, blessing program, charmer, come on, charmer, influencer, gift of wit. This is like the trifecta. This is the Bermuda Triangle. This is the Bermuda freaking Triangle of influencers, of celebrities. This is incredible. I need to see how many other celebrities have this kind of setup because this is pretty intense. This is pretty intense. Strong foundations, trapped dreamer, breaking toxic cycles. Okay, so confirmation again, breaking toxic cycles. We see this in Mac Miller, Denzel Washington, Ronda Rousey. This is talking about abuse. This is talking like about abusive relationships. So I don't think this person had an easy life. I don't think Conan O'Brien had an easy life. Every indication, like from his soul contract, is saying the opposite. Like he has had to go through some stuff. And if he's come out of this, like more so aligned, more so connected to himself, his purpose, and his ability to connect with people and unify them, then oh my God, more power to him. Sacred reconstruction, hostage, confidentiality. People naturally trust you. Yeah. It's the way his soul contract is set up, guys, that is just like here it is. This is what I expected. This is what I thought I was going to see in his soul contract, the actor-actress program, which is the program of mimicry, being able to mimic people, being able to be performing, to be performative all the time, being on all the time as a job. So that confirms what I thought was going to be in there, and that is the last subconscious program he has. And I've somehow already like spent almost an hour talking about this, but there was so much good stuff in here, guys. So let me hop off of here and start looking at Conan O'Brien and some of the stuff that he's done, because yeah, Bermuda Triangle of like the celebrity. But yeah, the Bermuda Triangle of being a celebrity. I feel like he has the trifecta for becoming well-known, becoming famous. On top of that, hard work. I wasn't even talking about the blessings he has. I was talking about the programs that make him a freaking amazing communicator, gift of wit, right? Influencer, right? There was one more, the Charmer program. And that wasn't even tapping into his millionaire program or his Midas Touch program, the golden gift. So yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do but become Conan O'Brien with that, but become a talk show host with that? I don't know. But that is what I have for you guys for Conan O'Brien's soul contract. There's still some more stuff at the bottom there, but I feel like the episode's going to run long if I address that. I feel like we got a really good look into Conan O'Brien and who he is as a person and what has been manifesting for him. The things that we have covered is that there was a lot of wounds there. I feel like, especially as a child, that have happened for him around his mom, his relationship with his mom. There have also been very abusive, toxic cycles happening, either in his family or in his love life, which I don't really love for him. I'm very curious to see what you guys noticed in his soul contract about these programs and how they manifest in real life. So please feel free to comment and let me know what you guys saw. Otherwise, if you wanted to purchase your own soul contract analysis, you can do so by going to my website at thesoulecosystem.com, going to the soul contract calculator tab, putting in your date of birth to see your numerology, and you can either purchase the full analysis and download the PDF, or buy it part by part, or buy the lifetime access. Thank you guys so much for joining me this Friday. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time.